Hey everyone, it's Courtney. Welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, I am an almost 2-year carnivore. I have lost about 55 pounds and changed my life tremendously by eating this way. You may be wondering why I am filming this in my car, but I am trying to be time efficient today. I am having some self-care, running some errands, and I'm waiting for a store to open so I can find an outfit for my cookbook cover photo shoot that is next week. So this video is going to be all about the frequently asked questions, struggles, and concerns that you guys have. And I'm going to try and power through it, keep it short and sweet so we can go over as much as we can in a video, one video that isn't insanely long. So the topics we're going to go over today are weight loss stalls, tracking your macros, ideal macros, what I can't even read my writing. Oh, if cheats, any like cheat days, and then the whole abstaining versus moderating, meat aversions, poops, what my kids eat, supplements, and fasting. So if that sounds good to you, give this a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, all the things. I'm gonna try and do this video with the least amount of editing needed possible. So if I fumble, I'm just gonna roll through it. So here we go. I feel like so many people struggle with this, gaining and losing the same 5, 10, 20 pounds. I struggled with that for a while. I'm finally like breaking through my weight loss stall and losing those final, gosh, I still probably have like 10 pounds to go, but I feel like that was the one thing that I saw a lot of the comments about is help, I'm stalled, I can't lose this weight, or I lost a lot of weight and I can't get the rest off. So now that I think about it, since that is my most frequently, commented issue, I'm going to save it for the end to make sure you guys watch through this whole thing. So here we go. Okay, fasting. Here's my thoughts on fasting. A wonderful tool. Maybe not for everybody. Some people have issues with it. So, do what you want with it. What I do is I follow Dr. Mindy's advice, and during like the nurture part of your cycle, so like the week leading up to when you actually bleed, you will not want to do any fasting. And also like a few days around ovulation time. If you do not have your cycle anymore, I haven't watched this stuff yet because it doesn't pertain to me. I will at some point watch it just so I have this information for you guys, but she does have advice on what to do if you are not currently having your cycle. So go check her out. I think fasting's a wonderful tool. They say the way we eat when we're carnivore, low carb, keto, it mimics fasting anyway. So just eating this way is amazing enough. But what I like to think about fasting is, think of your refrigerator. If you know that box of spring mix we always used to get, if you kept kind of like pushing that into the back and put your new groceries in and never cleaned out that rotting bag of spring mix, then that's kind of what fasting is doing. It's cleaning out your whole fridge. So it's cleaning out all the dead cells. You're getting autophagy, like it's supposed to be like anti-aging. So there's wonderful benefits to it. And also, it can be helpful in weight loss, especially like if you're doing OMAD or even 2MAD, keeping that eating window short is helpful. For me, if I eat breakfast, and I do eat breakfast a lot of days, especially like the week before my period, but when I eat, I feel like it opens the floodgates for eating the rest of the day. So for me, when I can with my cycle, having 2 meals a day are really helpful for me to just keep that eating window, keep your food in a small window. Otherwise it's like once you start eating, it's hard to slow yourself back down. Supplements. I drink Element. I also have been experimenting with a new to me called Beam Minerals. And I think I like them. It's nothing like flavored, so you're just taking it for the minerals and vitamins and electrolytes and all that, so it has way more stuff than your typical electrolytes. I do have a code. I haven't shared any of this yet because I just wanted to try it more before I started promoting it. So if you are interested, let me know. I'll get you the code. I don't even know what it is, to be honest. But I think I'm really liking them. I mean, it's hard to tell really, right? But I mean, it's something important that I think we should be having, especially magnesium. They say no matter what diet you're on, like the majority of us are deficient in magnesium anyways. Okay, poop's my favorite topic. If you are having diarrhea in the beginning, which is totally common. I mean, this is a lot of fat. You're probably not used to it. If you are having loose stools, you want to pull back on the rendered fat. So like say right now, if I'm cooking ground beef in a skillet, I will eat all that fat, all that liquid fat, yum, 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 gobble it up. In the beginning, that would run right through me. So I would probably advise to not have that stuff and get your fat in other ways, whether it's like solid chunks of fat on a ribeye or even some solid butter or dairy if you tolerate it. And what else? If you're having constipation, check your hydration, be hydrated. Check your electrolytes, so especially magnesium. If you are having constipation, the magnesium you want is citrate. Am I saying it right? Otherwise, I take glycinate or whatever is in the elements. But back to the loose stools, I've heard of people trying ox bile or lipase. That can help with the fat and digestion. It's something that you would only take for like a week or two. And if it doesn't help, it's nothing like bad to be taking. I've never tried it though. I have a longer version video about going over like my kids and all that, but just for like a short thing, I will say, if I were to throw a label on them, they would be considered animal-based. They are not carnivore. They do have some fruit. I find it keeps it sustainable for them, but I do notice how they're little sugar addicts and they could have, you know, a pound of fruit a day. So I do try and be mindful of how much they're having. And just our big thing is teaching them proper nutrition and talking about macros. So if they want to have a piece of fruit, well, I say, what protein are you going to pair it with? So we just kind of, you know, help them pay attention to those sort of things. And we do give them some freedom when we are out at, say, like a kid's birthday party. I will feed them beforehand, so hopefully they're not hungry. But yes, go ahead, have that pizza if you want it, but let's pay attention to our body. You don't need to eat the whole thing. When you're running around like a crazy person later that day, like this is why you are feeling this way, because of what you ate. And yes, they will maybe have a cupcake or something, but again, like you don't need to eat it all. Does your stomach start to hurt? Like just pay attention to how you're feeling. I would feel like my hard line is like, okay, you're not going to have the cupcake that has the red frosting. Like let's stay away from the food dyes. I feel like no matter what way of eating you eat, I feel like some common ground should at least be, you know, the red dyes, the seed oils. I mean, even sugar. Can we all agree that sugar is not good for us? Even if my kids do have some here and there, like we can agree on that, right? But of course we can't. Like not everyone agrees that that's a bad thing. So we just try and teach them proper nutrition, give them a little freedom to listen to their bodies, and yeah, just try and, you know, make everything we have at home a yes item. So any treats are going to be outside the home, because even when I buy popsicles that are like just fruit, Mom, I want a popsicle. I'm like, oh my gosh, stop asking me for things. So I like to be able to say like, yes, grab whatever you have at home and save the treats for outside the house. For meat aversions, luckily I've never had that issue, but what I would just suggest is just eat all the animals. Like, are you just having a beef aversion? Have some chicken wings, have some pork rind cereal is like one of my favorites. Have a bite of butter, have salmon. You know, like I think Judy Cho says, eat the rainbow of animals. So while we do want to prioritize beef, if you're getting sick of it, have some other things, have some bacon. And it doesn't just have to be like strictly meat, you know, like make a creative recipe, get some different textures in there. I find that can help a lot too. Those of you who cheat here and there, fall off the wagon, have trouble getting back on, hopefully I remember to link this. I have a video on abstaining versus moderating. I feel like, and because it's long, I feel like that, you know, would be super helpful. But let me just give you like the short gist. Remembering your why. Like if you want to fall off track and you know that thing is calling you, remember your why. Like trust me, I would love to like go right down the street and get like an oatmeal raisin cookie. Like some reason that has been popping in my head lately. I think it's more like the texture. That would be absolutely delicious, but I know that one bite is going to send me into a spiral. I know that I can't have that one bite. So my why for me is, you know, I need to stay on track. I don't want to go off on a binge. I want to be healthy. I want to be able to run around with my kids, you know, all those little reasons on why we eat this way, but just being aware that that one bite will lead into a full-on binge for me. So that's where the abstainer versus moderator thing comes in. It's like an alcoholic. They can't just have one drink. They'll have the whole bottle. Hi, I guess you can consider me that as well. I haven't drank in almost 3 years because, again, like my issues with sugar, I had issues with booze. So just being aware, I feel like a whole like new level of self-awareness came after going carnivore. So, just pay attention to those things. Even though it's not widely accepted that sugar is a drug, sugar is a drug. Okay. And it lights up areas in your brain like cocaine would. It gives us those dopamine hits. So just know, like, if you want that cookie, like, don't do it. It's not you that wants a cookie. It's your addiction. Go distract yourself, go exercise, go do anything, but have that cookie. Even tell yourself, like, okay, I'm going to go for a 10-minute walk. And if I come back, then we'll think about the cookie or something. And you'll probably have moved on from it at that point. Now the good stuff: macros, gaining and losing the same weight, and weight loss stalls, and tracking. Okay, what I did almost 2 years ago, as far as macros and what I was doing, kind of stopped working for me. And that's normal. Like, when you have a lot of weight to lose, the caloric needs or whatever of your body is going to be higher. Your body needs more calories and whatnot to function at that weight. So what I did then is, and I feel like this is a great generic statement, blanket statement on where to start with macros, and you adjust as needed. I always suggest whatever your goal weight is. Okay. So for me, that's 130. I would do per day 130 grams of fat and 130 grams of protein. Ballpark. I mean, don't stress yourself out being exact. And so that had my calories land around 1800. And I did that for a good year, lost 40-ish pounds eating that way. And then I kind of fell off of tracking. Some people don't have to track, and it's just boom, oh gosh, I forgot to eat, and now I'm at my goal weight. But a lot of us need to track. And for me, like, it holds me accountable. Like, okay, am I really hungry for this? Or, am I just wanting to snack? So it helps me be a little bit more mindful, I guess. I guess I can't be mindful without knowing where I'm at in my tracker and my macros. So that's another thing I'm working on is, I'm going to have to one day stop tracking. But I feel like I'll be good in maintenance mode because I was stalled for so long. I was essentially in maintenance mode, not tracking. So that's a good thing. So that is where I would suggest somebody starts and then adjust as needed. Some people feel better on a little bit lower protein and higher fat. For me, I have noticed that lowering the fat a little bit and upping the protein is what has helped me break through my weight loss stall, and of course consistently tracking that. So I went from 130 to 130. I then lowered my protein to, I'm about 110. No, sorry. I lowered my fat to about 110, and I upped my protein to about 140, 150. And some days, like, it's even higher. So you just got to play around with what macros work for you. But I think that starting out, like I said, with the goal weight, having that in equal grams of fat and protein is probably going to be a good place to start. And, prioritizing beef, having a lot of eggs, prioritizing seafood. So I would say, like, beef is my main thing, eggs, then seafood, and then having smaller amounts of chicken, pork, dairy, all that. And I would encourage everybody to take pictures, take measurements. The scale can lie. It's not the only tool. A lot of people get so frustrated, like, oh, I've only lost X amount of pounds. And it's like, well, but also, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? Are you feeling good? Are your health issues going away? And how are you looking? Like, we need to do those measurements and see how our clothes are fitting, because the scale can lie sometimes. And if you are struggling to lose, remember, like, 1 to 2 pounds a week is normal. I have people say, oh, I've been doing this for a month and I've only lost like 15 pounds. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's amazing. I feel like people have very high expectations. If someone that is like very largely obese, drops a lot of weight quickly, other people think that they're supposed to do that too. And it's like, no, like, yes, if you have hundreds of pounds to lose, you are going to lose a lot in the beginning. There's going to be a lot of water weight, inflammation, and of course fat, but losing 1 to 2 pounds a week is ideal. So if that's how you're losing, that's great. And you know what? Slow and steady, I feel like, is where it's at. It's going to keep it more sustainable. Losing weight very quickly cannot be good for the skin. I think Laura Spath even talks about that. Like, if she were to do something differently, she would have lost her weight a lot slower. So just something to think about. Another thing for those that are stalled or having trouble in the weight loss department, I would suggest you start tracking. Like, let's just put it out there. It may not be the answer you want to hear, but let's at least track what you have been doing. Why don't you go back a couple days, like, think about what you ate yesterday. Why don't you log that in and see where you're at. Because how can you make any changes if you don't know what you've been doing? Maybe you haven't even been eating enough and your body's just like holding on to that. Maybe you've been eating way too much. So go back to yesterday or the day before, or whatever an average day of eating is like for what you've been doing, and plug that in and see from there. So maybe you need to up your calories a little bit. Maybe you need to lower them. So do some reverse tracking so you have a place to start so you can make some changes from there. I feel like I could go on and on, but I just want to keep this one as short as possible. So let me know in the comments if there's any struggles that you're having that I didn't go over. I can always make another video. I hope this was helpful. Say hi in the comments, give this a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.